Ford's electric plan is falling flat. Their sales are down, losses are up, and they're scratching their heads for a solution. If things keep going this way, they might have to say goodbye to their EV dreams for good. They've even cut production, delayed investments, and they're letting go of a bunch of workers. But things are still going downhill. Let's look at 6 reasons why things are so bad at Ford. Number 6. Ford has lost thousands of dollars on every car sold. In the first quarter, Ford lost $130,000 on each vehicle it sold. This might seem like the biggest problem, the most alarming issue, but it is actually just the tip of the iceberg. In reality, it's the logical result of Ford's electric vehicle strategy, which has been full of big mistakes over the years. They've been losing money on EVs, which we already knew, but the situation has now gone from bad to worse. Ford's struggle with plug-in vehicles is a part of a larger issue. The company's attempts to transition to electric vehicles has not been successful, and this quarter's loss is just one example of the broader ongoing difficulties. The problems are not new, but they have now reached a critical point requiring urgent attention and action. Last year, Ford lost nearly $5 billion on electric cars, which was a bit over $40,000 for each EV sold. This year, things are even worse in the first quarter. Ford cut production a lot and sold only 10,000 electric cars in 3 months, which is 20% less than last year. Even more surprising is that their revenue dropped by 84%, down to just $100 million. Ford lost $1.3 billion on the 10,000 electric automobiles it sold in the first quarter, resulting in a massive loss of $130,000 per vehicle. Interestingly, this report came right after Ford claimed it had cut the production cost of the Mach-E by $5,000. How can this be? The losses aren't only from making and selling these 10,000 EVs. Officials said that the losses include hundreds of millions spent on research and development for future EV models, which won't pay off for several years. The company also projected a loss of around $5 billion for this year, similar to last year's losses, but with even lower sales. In other words, the only way Ford can reduce losses right now is by cutting the production of electric vehicles, which doesn't seem like a good strategy. Now, before we continue, if you're enjoying this video, do well to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe buttons to show your support. If you've done that, let's continue. Number 5. The overall EV market is slowing down. Ford's EVs are struggling right now, and it's not just the Mach-E, which saw a 50% drop in sales earlier this year. The situation is so bad that experts estimate there are over 20,000 unsold vehicles sitting at dealerships. Based on current sales rates, it would take more than 6 months to sell all those electric crossovers. The situation is likely even worse with the F-150 Lightning. This all-electric pickup was meant to be Ford's key model for the future, eventually replacing the gas-powered F-Series, which is still the best-selling vehicle in the US. However, the all-electric F-150 has not performed well, with a disappointing real-world range and slow charging rate. Once people realized these issues, demand dropped so much that there was a huge number of canceled orders. Considering this and the fact that Ford has been losing a lot of money on this pickup, it's no surprise that production was significantly reduced. Ford even had to lay off hundreds of workers at its plant. Although sales are down and the percentage continues to drop with every new report, what's particularly interesting is that while Ford's electric vehicle divisions are struggling, their hybrid vehicles are doing much better. Hybrid sales have gone up by over 42% compared to the same period last year. Additionally, even the sales of gas-only models have increased by 2.6%. This shows a significant trend. While fully electric vehicles are having a hard time finding buyers, hybrids are becoming more popular. The steady rise in gas-only model sales also shows that traditional vehicles still have a solid market. The situation suggests that Ford might need to rethink its strategy and perhaps focus more on hybrids and gas-powered models, at least in the short term, to stabilize its sales and reduce losses. Number 4. Quality problems. If you're wondering why Ford EV sales are going down despite the big discounts, there are 2 main reasons. The first reason is the poor performance. which we already discussed. The second reason is the quality of Ford electric vehicles. Ford has never been known for top quality and reliability, but with EVs, it seems the company's standards have dropped even further. In just a few years of making them, Ford has already received a lot of complaints. There are many different issues, starting with frequent complaints about build quality. There have also been more serious problems, like the battery contactor overheating on the Mustang Mach-E when using DC charging or during heavy acceleration. The overheating caused a couple of issues, including power loss, and in some cases, the vehicle wouldn't start at all. So the company had to recall more than 35,000 models in 2022 alone. The Ford F-150 Lightning had its share of problems too. There were even cases of the pickup catching fire unexpectedly. One truck burned to the ground at the Dearborn plant and damaged a couple more. The F-150 Lightning was recalled because of a poorly designed high-voltage junction box that could lead to fire. Apart from safety worries, people also questioned the quality of this pickup's performance. Independent tests revealed disappointing results, especially concerning the maximum range, which significantly decreased under heavy use. Whether towing a trailer or carrying a full load of sand, the battery drained so quickly that the truck's performance suffered. This cast doubt on whether electric trucks will be able to outperform their traditional counterparts anytime soon. Number 3, Ford fires 70% of workforce. With fewer people wanting to buy and big losses, it was obvious that Ford needed to make fewer all-electric F-150 trucks. And when they make fewer trucks, some workers will lose their jobs. That's exactly what happened at the Dearborn plant earlier this year. Ford decided to reduce the number of workers there who make the F-150 Lightning trucks. But the decision to cut jobs came as a surprise to everyone. Just a few months ago, the plant employed 2,100 workers. But today, that number has dwindled down to just 700. With 1,400 employees left without a job, Ford had to find solutions. They relocated 700 workers to the Wayne plant, where they were tasked with forming a new shift to produce body-on-frame Bronco and Ranger models. As for the remaining 700 workers, Ford presented them with options. They could either seek reassignment in Southeast Michigan or opt for a retirement package worth $51,000. This significant reduction in workforce shows the challenges Ford faces in the electric industry. At number 2, Ford will earn a lot if there were no electric cars. While companies like Toyota are experiencing record-high profits, Ford would be making a significant profit if it weren't for their fast electrification plan. This is evident in the recent projections for 2024, where electric vehicles are identified as the main obstacle to achieving substantial profit margins. Specifically, the company has adjusted its expected profit to $11 billion, which is a noteworthy increase from last year's $10.4 billion. There are several reasons for this, including higher profit margins, the absence of a UAW strike, the expected growth of the new Super Duty series, and more. However, at the same time, the projected loss on electric cars, as mentioned earlier, is around $5 billion, slightly higher than last year's loss of $4.7 billion. In simpler terms, if Ford didn't sell models like the F-150 Lightning and Mach-E, its profit would be 50% higher. This shows that the company's EV strategy is a complete failure. And number 1, stopping EV investments. The production of electric vehicles is very expensive. The cost of research and development are even higher. With such massive losses, it became clear long ago that Ford cannot continue investing in EVs at the planned pace. Simply put, the losses have grown so large that they could potentially threaten the company's financial stability. Because of this, Ford announced that it is postponing $12 billion worth of investments. In late 2023, officials clearly stated that this move was necessary to save money. This included putting the Kentucky EV plant on hold, and no one knows if it will ever be completed. Ford CFO John Lawler said, "Given the changing electric vehicles environment, we're being careful with our production and adjusting future capacity to better match market demand." Ford has already announced that it is abandoning its plan to build 2 million EVs by 2026. Recent statements from the company have been very cautious about the future of plug-in vehicles. In the meantime, more and more Ford dealers are dropping out of Ford's EV certification program, which required big investments in infrastructure and staff training. Ford has even asked dealers to pause their investments in this program. The company is delaying these financial commitments to give dealers more time to make informed decisions. Simply put, since the future is uncertain, Ford wants to protect its dealers from making more failed EV investments. This decision reflects the serious financial strain the company is under. The huge expenses and ongoing losses make it impossible to keep up with the original investment plans without risking the company's overall financial health. Alright guys, we've come to the end of this video, and if you enjoyed it, do well to click on the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to check other videos on our playlist. We've got some amazing content for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.